afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yesterday, I explained you how to draw polygon, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you completed the two methods? How many of you completed? How to share? Yes, is my screen is visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it got struck or something? These are all options are really ఇదేంటమ్మా వీడియో టర్న్ కెమెరా ఎట్లా టర్న్ అవుతుంది yes ma you people can just spotlight me should I do that or
చేసుకోవాలి స్పాట్లైట్ మీకు వస్తుంది మీరు చేయండి మీకు వస్తుంది
where sir
మేడం మీ దానిపైన క్లిక్ చేయండి స్పాట్లైట్ ఆన్ అయిపోతుంది
this is really horrible sir teams చాలా బాగుంటది yes ma is screen is visible ma to everyone yes ma
ఏమా విజిబుల్ కదా
yeah again I'm explaining the same question please pay attention here question number 1 what was the question draw a regular pentagon and a regular sir సార్ నా వాయిస్ వినబడుతోంది సార్
మేడం నేను మైక్
సార్ వాయిస్ వినబడుతోంది
అదే
yes ma 40 mm I think I had given using general method like this I will not repeat the topics again and again so this is last time where the light is yeah here it is nice it will not possible for me to repeat the topics every time ma. Okay where is the yeah. So pay attention here I will show you how to draw regular pentagon and regular heptagon which side 40 mm so first of all what we need to do here first we have to draw a side of 40 mm everyone please pay attention how I am showing here so first we need to take super pencil so first of all we need to mark a distance of 40 mm see which lines I'm making dark and which lines I'm making light that you need to observe here so I had taken a distance of 40 mm, and I'm marking the dimensions for this. These all will not be repeated for you again and again. So please pay attention and see how I'm making with pencil. You need to follow same thing. See, what I highlighted, only the OA line I highlighted, which is equal to 40 mm. Next, what we need to do? We have to extend the same length. Please follow here, ma. First, we need to draw a length of 40 mm, which is given in the problem. The same length you have to take. If it is in the problem, if it is 40 mm, we have to take 40. If it is 30, we need to take 30. Now, same length we need to extend. Same length, whatever is given, we need to extend on the other side. That is on left hand side. See here, that length I'm taking with a light line. You can see the difference between these two lines. This is my question, which need to be dark. Now, what I need to do? Name this point. Whatever the name you want to give, you can give. I will give the name for this point as P. Okay. Now, let us take compass and take the 40 mm, which is given in the question as a side of the pentagon or side of the polygon. Take that as radius. Take say O as center and 40 mm as radius. Draw one semicircle. You can observe still only OA is dark. After this, as I told you, this is pentagon. So total this angle will be PA angle, or this OPA angle will be equal to 180 degrees. If you want to draw the pentagon, then we need to divide it with 5. 5 means 36 degrees you will get. So first you need to take division for 36. 36 plus 36, 72. 72 plus 36, how much you're getting? 108 or yes. 108. 108 plus 36, 14, 4, 144. Next will be 180. So 36, 72, 108, 144, 180. So total these are the divisions we need to do. If it is per pentagon, 180 by 5 you need to do. If it is for hexagon, you need to take 180 by 6. If it is for heptagon, here we need to draw heptagon also. Hepta means 7. We need to take 7. Like that we have to do. The procedure for all the pentagon or all the polygons. Polygon may be pentagon, hexagon, octagon, whatever may be the octagon. The procedure is same. First we need to take the length of the line. Then we have to extend the same length on the left hand side. Then take center as O and this radius equal to 40. Draw one semicircle. O as center, 40 mm as radius, draw one semicircle. Now we are drawing pentagon. So you will be getting the interval as 36 degrees. So place it here. Place the protractor here. You all have this protractor. Place it here, which is equal to 180. Now mark 36. 36 plus 36, 72. Next, 72 plus 36, 108, 5, 6, 7, 8, 108. Next, 144. The last one is 180. So like this I had divided. Now immediately what you need to do? You have to join all these divisions with the center. Join all these divisions with the center O. See how light I am joining, because all these are construction lines. Construction lines need to be very light. Keep that in mind and draw. For every division, we need to draw, we need to join with the center. Like that, I need to join all the centers. Now you can see all the centers I had joined. We already had taken the point P. So this will become our first division. And this will become our second division. Now this will become our third division. Now this is our fourth division. This is our fifth division. Like that, we divided the semicircle into 5 divisions. 5. Why we divided into only 5? The reason is 180 by 5. We are drawing the pentagon. So we need to divide into 5 divisions. Now let us see. Every time, it may be a pentagon, it may be or hexagon, whatever may be the polygon, second division you need to join with the center one. So join O with 2. This is the second point of your pentagon. Now same radius. Now the radius, if you check, it will be equal to 40. See, it is equal to 40 exactly. Now what you need to do? Second division. It may be pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, whatever may be the polygon. You need to join the second division with the center. That will become your immediate next side of the polygon. Okay. Now 2 as center, same radius, which is equal to this or 40. The same radius from this point, you need to cut an arc on the third line. Name that as whatever may be the point you want to give, you can give. Let us give this point as B. Now what you need to do? We need not to change anything here. We just need to take the same radius, B as center. Next line is O4 line. Cut an arc on that. Wherever it is intersecting, name that point as C. Now immediately the fifth division, we need to join the end of the line, at the end of the line. Now join 2B. After that BC. Then after we need to join CA. This is how we need to draw. You can check here, only my pentagon is dark. Remaining everything is light on. Is it clear for everyone, ma?
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
procedure?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone have doubts here? This is how we need to draw. When you people share last time, when you people shared the document in the last class, like when you shared your observation, I observed that people are doing everything dark. When you do everything dark, then it is waste. Whatever the semicircle we are doing here, whatever the divisions we are doing, whatever the calculation part we are doing here, that all is a rough work. Our motto is question 40 mm, which is given, that need to be highlighted, that need to be dark, that need to be dimensioned, and remaining answer is pentagon, that need to be dark, and remaining lines and all need to be very light, ma. Here lines need to be visible to you people in camera. That is the reason little bit dark I had done. Actually lighter than this I need to do. When you are doing lighter than this, you have to do. All of a sudden see, you can even check, I am using the same pencil, same HB pencil I'm using, but still how I am able to maintain the difference between the lines, main object and construction lines, how I can able to manage? It is possible only with the hand pressure. If I apply more pressure with my hand, then I will get dark lines. If I apply light pressure, then I will get the lighter lines. This is the first general method which we use for pentagon and heptagon, which we are using for pentagon and heptagon with 40 mm side. Here I had drawn the pentagon. For pentagon 180 by 5 we need to do, 36 interval we got. So 36 plus 36 you will get 72. 72 plus 36 108. 108 plus 36 144. 144 plus 36 you will get 180. Similarly, if you do 180 by 7, how much you are getting, ma? 180 by 7 means how much you are getting? Do it with your calci, ma.
25.71.
180 by 7, how much you are getting?
22.7.
22.7 degrees, or approximately we can take 23 degrees. Okay, 23 plus 23, how much you will get? 46. 46 plus 23, how much you will get?
Ma'am, it is 25.71, ma'am.
20?
5.71.
25.71. That means approximately 26 degrees we need to take. Okay, 26 plus 26, how much you're getting? 52. 52 plus 26, so first 26, then 52, then 78. Then 78 plus 26, 104. 104 plus 26, like that you need to take your angles, ma. This concept is clear for everyone, no? Depends on the polygon, whatever may be the number of sides. If pentagon you are taking, in pentagon you will have 5 sides. That means you have to divide the semicircle angle into 5. If you are constructing heptagon, then hepta means 7 sides. Then you need to divide 180 by 7. So that you have to keep in mind. And moreover, why I am showing it with my hand, I am drawing here is the problem is you are not maintaining the dark lines dark and light lines light. You are making everything dark. That is the reason I'm showing it once again. Okay, this is the first method. Is first general method is clear for everyone, ma? Shall we go to the next method?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Same dimensions I will take and I will show you. Second method as well. Please follow the steps carefully. First, we need to draw 40 mm. This should be dark. This is our question. So let us name this as A and B. Now find out the bisection of these two lines. Bisection means center line. Actually, for this we need to do perpendicular bisector. But here exact division we know. So directly I can take the bisection line. Name this line, this point as O. Now what you need to do? OB as radius or OA as radius. Both are same. Right, ma? O as center. Draw one semicircle. Okay. What we did here? First we need to draw. This is 40. AB we need to draw. AB we have to draw AB length which is equal to 40. So dimension line I will take. I'll draw the side length as which is equal to 40. After that I'll mark the midpoint. From there I'll draw a perpendicular line. To find out exact perpendicular line, even you can use your protractor also. Even you can use your protractor. From the middle point, you can check. It should be exactly 90 degrees line. So on that 90 degrees line, after getting that 90 degrees line from the bisection, point O, take OA or OB as radius and draw semicircle with the center O. After that, you have to take the same radius again. AB as radius, which is equal to 40. Okay. And now, either from the center A or either from the center B. From here also you can draw, or else even from here also you can draw. And from anywhere you can draw. Both the points will get here only. No need to draw from both the centers. From any one center you need to draw. Wherever it is intersecting, that point you name it as, always we need to name this point as 6. And this point we need to always name 4. Okay. Wherever the semicircle is intersecting on this perpendicular line, we'll name that point as 4. And wherever this radius, this is half radius. Sorry. 40 means half. This is full length. This is whatever the semicircle we are drawing, that will name it as 4. And full radius, whichever for half radius, whatever you are taking, you will be taking the center as O. And you will be drawing the semicircle. For this bigger arc, either you need to select the center A or B. That intersection points gives you 6. Now we have the 4 and 5. In between, we need to get 5. How to get whenever you have any 2 points here like this, whenever you have AB points, 2 points, and we don't know the length, we don't know this length, then how to find out the center point for this is using what is this method is known as perpendicular bisection. Perpendicular bisection method. Same method I will use here also. I have 4, I have 6. That is, this is 4 is one end, 6 is other end. In between, I will have 5. To find out that point, what I am doing here, please observe. 4 as center, more than half as radius. Randomly, you can take anything. Draw one arc from 4 as center, and down also you need to draw another arc. Here one arc, here another arc. Same radius, you need to take center 6 and cut those 2 arcs. Here it is not intersecting, I'm just extending. You can see small arcs are joining. Now just join them. Now join them. Put the intersection points dots. This method I already explained, but still I am just showing you. Now wherever this line is intersecting, that is your exactly midpoint, and that is your point 5. Now simply you have the radius for the division, each division. Now take 4, 5 as radius or 5, 6 as radius, because both are same. Now from 6, 4, 5 as radius, 6 as center, cut an arc. This is 7. Now 7 as center, cut another arc. This is 8. Now 8 as center, cut another arc. That is your 9. So now you can name these points as 7, 8, 9. So total 9. So if you take center now 4, you'll be getting square. If you take center 5, you will be getting pentagon. 6, if you take as center, you will get hexagon. 7, hepta. 8, octa. 9, nanogon. So like this, you can draw n number of sides using this perpendicular line division. Till here, is it clear for everyone, ma? Anyone have doubts here?
No.
Yeah. Now we need to draw pentagon. How to draw pentagon? I need to take the center as 5 and radius a. If I want to draw pentagon, then I need to take the center as 5 and radius 5a. I have to draw one circle. Okay. After this, just take the radius of your side of the pentagon, AB, which is equal to 40. Now A as center, just cut an arc on the semicircle. Next point, from this intersection point. Now this is our intersection point on the on the circumference of the circle. Now take this as center and cut an arc. Next, this as center, cut an arc. Now from this, exactly it will be intersecting here, the last side. That is the point B. Now simply join the line. Name this point as, we already have A here. Now let us name this point as C. Join BC. Next, this point you name it as D. Join CD. Next, join E. Next, join E to the end point to the again starting point. You can check the pentagon. Is it clear, ma, how to draw the pentagon for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now we need to
Yes, ma'am.
even nomenclature this. For naming, I already told you. Here you need to draw one circle with your row circle and write your number here, question number 1 or 2 or whatever. And always write the name of polygon here. For that we need to draw supporting lines. 2 supporting lines we have to draw, and even middle line also. Now write pentagon. Even you need to write neatly, because I had shown you already. Like this, you need to write pentagon. Here you can check only my sides are dark. Remaining the circle, perpendicular line, arcs, all are light. This is how you need to draw. I had shown you two methods, two general methods, where how to draw the pentagon. Is it clear for you, ma? Both the methods are clear for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you draw now? Will you make all the lines dark?
Yes, ma'am.
All lines dark chestara?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
Which you need to
Only
draw dark? Which lines need to be dark, ma? Which lines need to be dark?
Question.
given in the question.
Yeah, only that question and the final answer need to be dark. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone have doubts still? Last class people, whoever had shown me, they did completely wrong. They had drawn everything dark. That is completely wrong, ma. Even though the method, procedure, everything, you may be doing it properly, but that is the wrong procedure. Our only object need to be dark. Remaining whatever we are doing, that is known as construction lines. Those construction lines need to be light. Okay. Next, let us start the next topic. Shall I go to the next topic? This is completely first sheet number 1. This topics comes under sheet number 1. I had shown you how to draw the pentagon. You need to draw hexagon, hexa, hepta, octa. Okay. Nanogon avasram ledu. Only heptagon, hexagon, octagon వరకు గీయండి. 8 sides వరకు గీయండి. Will you do it, ma?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma. Okay. Yeah, next topic is conic sections. Okay, let us start the next topic, conic sections. And I will tell you what do you mean by conic sections and all. This is our sheet number 2, ma. Sheet number 2 lo undali. Sheet number 1 is over. Now sheet number 2, the topic is conic sections. Conic sections. I will give you the definition. Yes, ma'am. Let us see the sheet number 2 topics. These are all sheet number 2. We already discussed. Once again, I will show you sheet number 1. First topic is lettering. First topic is lettering. Second topic, dimensioning. Third topic, geometrical constructions. Under this only we have constructions of polygons. Under polygons, we need to draw pentagon, second one, hexagon, third one, pentagon, hexagon, octagon, fourth one, heptagon. All these four by using two general methods. So total we have 4. By 2 methods, if you do, total 8 diagrams. 8 diagrams you will be getting from polygons. Okay. This completely comes under basics of engineering graphics. Title. This is the title for sheet number 1. So these are all topics you need to draw in one sheet. Okay. If you are continuing the sheet also, space is not sufficient in one sheet. You can draw even second sheet also, but the title should be same. Basics of engineering graphics, and number also need to be same. Sheet number 1. Now let us see conic sections. And I already told you what do you mean by conic section, but still I will tell you. Before going for conic section, we need to know about cone. What do you mean by cone definition? Everyone write down. Cone is formed. A cone is formed if a right angled triangle. A cone is formed if a right angled triangle. A cone is formed if a right angled triangle with an apex angle alpha. With an apex angle alpha with an apex angle alpha rotated about its altitude. Rotated about its altitude as the axis. Full stop. A cone is formed if a right angled triangle. This is right angled triangle where this angle will be equal to 90 degrees. Okay, this is right angled triangle. Okay, a cone is formed if a right angled triangle with an apex angle alpha is rotated about 360 degrees. Means if it is like this, it is the complete triangle is rotating like this. Okay, right angle triangle is rotated about its altitude. Altitude means it is rotating about its height. This is the altitude. Height as the axis. This altitude will be acting as an axis. Okay, then the cone is formed. How it is formed, I will show you. Okay, when it is, I'm doing it with pen. You can draw with pencil. This is the base of the cone, which is equal to the side of the triangle. It is in the middle. Like this, the cone is formed. It should be exact. Okay. Now this is known as altitude, which is nothing but axis of the cone, which will be acting as axis of the cone. And this is base, and this is known as apex. This is known as apex angle. Okay, this is a cone. This is how the cone will form. How the cone is formed? when a right angled triangle is rotating with an apex angle alpha in 360 degrees by keeping its altitude as the axis, then the cone is formed. Here, write down next. Here, the height and the radius of the base of cone are here the height and base radius. Here the height and base radius of the cone are respectively equal to the altitude and base of the triangle. Altitude and base of the triangle. So this is the right angled triangle with an apex angle alpha when it is rotating with its altitude. Altitude means height. With its altitude in 360 degrees, then the cone is formed. And now the cone height is equal to the altitude of this triangle. And radius will be equal to the base of the triangle, which is equal to this base height. Okay, this is how the cone is formed. Now conic section. Next definition, write down conic section. What do you mean by conic section? When you cut the cone, it is known as sectioning. A conic section is a curve. Write down my definition. A conic section is a curve obtained by cutting. A conic section is a curve obtained by cutting a right circular cone with the help of a plane in different positions relative to the axis. In different position relative to the axis. Right down below that, there are three types of conic sections. Namely, first one, ellipse. Second one, the parabola. And the third one, the hyperbola. Okay, these are the three basic types. Okay, even we can get beyond this, even we can get the circle, even we can get rectangular hyperbola. Even we can get these also, but we are not going to consider these much. Okay, we will be concentrating on these three only. These three types of conic sections only will concentrate. Let us see how we will get the first one, circle. Write down the definition. When the cutting plane is perpendicular to the axis of cone, that is, when the cutting plane is perpendicular to the axis of the cone, that is, theta is equal to 90 degrees. That is theta is equal to 90 degrees. The curve of intersection obtained is a circle. I will show you how we will get the circle. If this is the cone, you need to draw this diagrams also, but with the pencil. This is the axis of cone, and this is the cutting plane. Okay. When this cutting plane is making an angle of theta. What is theta here? Theta is equal to angle of inclination made by the cutting plane. Angle of inclination made by the cutting plane with the axis of cone. Okay, you write it down in brackets. What is this theta? Theta is an angle made by the cutting plane with the axis of cone. When this theta is equal to 90 degrees, the curve which you are going to get is known as circle. Which curve you will get, ma? You will be getting a circle. Okay. Is it clear how we are getting the circle? Is clear for everyone? Yes, ma. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever I'm writing is visible, ma, to you? Is it visible to you?
No, ma'am.
Eh? What? Hello?
Visible, ma'am.
Who said no just now? Is this clear how we are getting this circle? Circle is equal to when the cutting angle made by the cutting plane theta is equal to 90 degrees, the curve formed is known as circle. Is it clear, ma?
Yes,
Yes, I'm
ma'am.
asking you people only.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you written all these things? Data which I was giving?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Tikka answer liyakandayya meeru, please. Yeah. Next thing is ellipse. Next second one. Write it down. Ellipse. How we are getting ellipse? Okay. I will show you how we are getting ellipse here. This is our normal cone. I'll give the definition. Please wait, ma. This is normal cone. And this is axis of the cone. You should draw exactly middle. And here we have the cutting plane. And the angle made by the cutting plane is equal to theta. And the apex angle is equal to alpha. Okay. Write it down. When the cutting plane write down when the cutting plane is inclined to the if you want you can write down here. This is known as cutting plane. Again and again you should not get confused. This is cutting plane. When the cutting plane is inclined to the axis with the inclination greater than the half of the apex angle. Greater than the half of the apex angle. Greater than the half of the apex angle. That means theta is cutting angle. Alpha is half of the apex angle. Now the cutting plane for this ellipse should be greater than the half of the apex angle. That means which should be greater? Theta should be greater. Here, when this is apex angle of triangle, the total apex angle for the cone will be equal to 2 alpha. Okay, from here to here, the total apex angle is for cone is equal to 2 alpha. This is question, very important question. The total apex angle, if the right angle triangle is rotating with an apex angle alpha, then the total cone angle will be equal to 2 alpha. Okay. Now, how to get ellipse? For ellipse, what is the formula or condition? The cutting angle theta should be greater than alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is equal to half of the apex angle of the cone. Okay, and you know what you mean by theta. Okay, when theta is greater than alpha, the curved form is known as, whatever the curve which is formed here is known as ellipse. This is the shape of an ellipse. So you will be getting ellipse. Okay, is it clear, ma'am? Is it clear how you're getting? I'm asking you only.
Blur, ma'am.
Blur. What happened, ma?
Letter size చిన్నగా ఉంది మామ.
How is it clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. When theta cutting angle is greater than alpha. What is alpha? Half of the apex angle. When theta is greater than alpha, the curve formed by the section plane is ellipse. Now, next third one. Third one is parabola. Parabola. How the parabola is going to form? Same. We need to draw the cone, and here we need to draw the axis of the cone. And we have to cut this cone with a section plane. Okay, and this cutting angle is known as theta. ఎట్లా పెట్టాలో నాకు అర్థం కావట్లేదు, మీరేమో కనిపించట్లేదు, ఏమేమో చెప్తుంటారు. How I need to keep my third one. Parabola. This is the cone, and here we have the axis of the cone, and here we have the cutting angle, cutting plane. This is a cutting angle and this is alpha. When theta is equal to alpha, ante enti? When angle made by the cutting plane theta, I'm telling you, if you want you can write it, or normally you can draw this diagram and you can take this condition. When the parabola is going to form, eppudu form avutadi? When you cut the cone with a cutting plane which is making an angle of theta equal to half of the apex angle. Okay, when theta cutting angle is equal to half of the apex angle, when you cut with this condition, whatever the intersection is there, that will be in the shape of parabola. It is the shape of the curve, is known as the curve, or the conic section which you are going to get is known as parabola. Is it clear, ma'am? Parabola is clear for everyone. When you are going to get parabola, when you cut the cone with a cutting angle theta equal to half of the apex angle of the cone. When theta is equal to alpha, when you cut with this condition, you will be getting a parabola. Is it clear? Is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
How to draw parabola? Sorry, hyperbola. For hyperbola, the condition is, let us see. This is our cone. And now this is our axis of the cone. And when this cutting plane is making an angle of theta, and this is alpha. When theta is less than alpha, ante when cutting angle of the plane, or when the angle of cutting plane is less than half of the apex angle, the curved form by the cone is known as hyperbola. It is known as hyperbola. Here we need to remember only theta and alpha. These two only we need to remember. Is hyperbola is clear for everyone, ma? Is hyperbola is clear for everyone? How we are getting hyperbola? How we are getting this hyperbola? When cutting angle is theta less than alpha, that is when sectioning angle or cutting angle or theta is less than alpha, then the curve formed by the section plane or cone is known as, or that conic section is known as hyperbola. So here we need to remember main things, two main things which are known as, what are the two main things we need to remember is theta two main things which is known as theta and alpha. Theta is cutting angle. Theta is cutting angle. Alpha is half of the apex angle. Half of the apex angle. If theta is perpendicular alpha, that is theta is equal to 90 degrees, then the curve form is known as circle. If theta is greater than alpha, then the curved form is known as ellipse. Third one, if theta is equal to alpha, the curve form is known as parabola. Last one, if theta less than alpha, the curve form is known as hyperbola. So these are the important points we need to remember. Once again, I'm telling you, theta is known as cutting angle. Alpha is known as half of the apex angle. I will show you here. If this is the cone, this is the cone. Okay, if this is the cone, this is the radius. This total angle is known as 2 alpha. When this is the right angle triangle, when this right angle triangle is rotating with an apex angle of alpha, the cone angle will be equal to 2 alpha. This is known as apex. That is the reason we are calling this as apex angle, which is equal to 2 alpha. Half of the apex angle is, half means 2 alpha by 2. Then how much you will be getting? Alpha. Half of the apex angle is alpha. Now cutting plane angle means if this is the cone, if this is the cutting plane. Okay, this is the axis. The angle made by this is known as theta. Idi theta, idi alpha, half of the apex angle. Is it clear for everyone, ma? Are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
clear with all this terminology?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you noted down all these things, ma? Have you noted down all these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next thing, we need to put a heading, construction of ellipse. Construction of ellipse. Okay. The method which we are using is known as, first one, we have so many methods, but we use only eccentricity method. Eccentricity method. or general method. Eccentricity method or general method. This only we use. Okay. Now in eccentricity method, we need to know the terminology before going for the problem. Now let us see what is the terminology which we are going to use. First, we need to write down. I will draw one diagram here. Each and everything I will explain you. Okay. This is a point V1 and V2. This is the point A and B. And here we have the point F1, F2. And next we have here we have the point P. And we have the point M. Okay. Now let us see what are all these points. Okay. First, let us start with the point F1 and F2. F1 and F2 are known as foci or fixed points. Foci or fixed point. You need to remember one thing here. These are the 2 points F1 and F2. Okay. Always remember F1 and F2 are also known as fixed points, which are always marked on the principal axis. Axis meeda mark ayi untayi. Okay, these two are the fixed points or foci. The distance individually, if you consider F1, we'll call it as foci or foci. Okay, individually. The distance between these two is known as foci. Focal length also we'll call. And these two are also known as fixed points because they are not going to change their position throughout the construction of the ellipse. Okay. Foci F1 and F2. Once again, I'm repeating. F1 and F2 are known as foci or foci. F-O-C-I, foci. They are also called as fixed points, and these fixed points will be always marked on the principal axis, on the horizontal axis, on the axis AB. That is about F1, F2. Next, V1 and V2 is known as vertices or major axis. Okay. The starting point of the curve and the ending point of the curve, which is intersecting on the principal axis, is known as vertex. Individually, V1 is known as vertex. Individually, V2 is known as vertex. The distance between V1 and V2 is known as vertices. Both are known as vertices. And the distance between these 2 points are known as major axis. The distance between V1 and V2 are known as major axis. Once again, I'm repeating. V1, V2 are the starting point and ending point of an ellipse, which are intersecting with the principal axis. V1 and V2 are the starting and ending point of the curve, which are intersecting on the principal axis. You can see they are intersecting with the principal axis. And individually, V1 is known as vertex. Individually, V2 is also known as vertex. The distance between V1 and V2 is known as major axis. The distance between V1 and V2 is known as major axis. Next one, D dash. This is D dash, which is known as directrix. Which is known as directrix, or even it is known as fixed line. V1, D and D1 is known as directrix or fixed line. So any vertical line. So this is a vertical line. And the vertical line is known as directrix. And this vertical line is also known as fixed line. Fixed point means foci. Fixed line means directrix. And the line of line of directrix or length of directrix can be anything. Anywhere you can draw directrix, but only the thing is directrix and principal axis need to be perpendicular to each other. They should perpendicular with each other. Okay, that is about directrix. Directrix means directrix is a line where we starts the curve, and wherever we want to draw the curve, wherever we want to draw the directrix line, we can draw. And even the length of directrix line can be anything. There is no restriction for length of this line, and it is also known as fixed line. Fixed line. Don't get confused between these two. F1 and F2 are known as fixed points. Directrix D1 D dash is known as fixed line. These are fixed points. This is fixed line. And always remember, the directrix line and principal axis both are perpendicular with each other. Okay, they are perpendicular with each other. Next, to go to AB, which is known as principal axis. This is the principal axis. Why we are calling this as principal axis? Because starting point of the curve, ending point of the curve, foci points, moving point, major axis, minor axis, all the points will be related to this principal axis only. Okay, that is the reason we are calling it as principal axis. Always remember, directrix and principal axis both will be perpendicular with each other. Directrix line will be a continuous line, but principal axis will be, axis means you need to draw this axis line with the help of long dashed dotted line. Okay, whenever you are drawing AB line, which is nothing but principal axis, you need to use long dashed dotted line, and length of this principal axis also can be anything. And you need to remember, directrix will be a vertical line, principal axis will be a horizontal line, and these two need to be always perpendicular bisectors. Bisector means exactly in the middle, but you need not to measure whether it is exactly middle. Is it located exactly in the middle or not? You need not to check that. But the thing is, approximately it should be in the middle. Okay. Why we are calling this as principal axis? Because on this principal axis only, you will have the vertex point, you will have the foci point, you will have minor axis point, major axis, moving point, curve, everything is relevant to this principal axis only. That is, this is the main line, and this main line need to be drawn with the help of long dashed dotted line. And this should be dark, and you have to use HB pencil to draw this principal axis. And always remember, D dash is directrix, which is continuous line, and AB is a principal axis, which is long dashed dotted line. And these two lines need to be perpendicular with each other. This need to be horizontal, vertical. Directrix line need to be vertical, and principal axis need to be horizontal. Okay, that is about principal axis. And next we have the other line, which is known as EF. EF is known as minor axis. The simplest thing is for minor axis is the distance which is perpendicular to the major axis. Okay, major axis, remember ma, always the major axis is marked on the principal axis. Major axis is always, this is the major axis, the distance between V1 and V2. Always the major axis is marked on principal axis, and the minor axis will be perpendicular to this major axis. That means just simply V1, V2 ki midpoint find out cheyali. You need to find out the midpoint. From there, you need to draw 190 degrees line. And this minor axis will be intersecting on the two extreme points of the ellipse. On the two extreme points of the ellipse. V1, V2 are the distance for the major axis. EF is the minor axis. V1, V2 are the extreme points which are intersecting at the ends of the curve. The difference between these two ends and these two ends are, these two are the ends, V1, V2 are the ends which are intersecting with the principal axis, whereas EF are not intersecting with the principal axis. Okay, EF and V1, V2. EF is known as minor axis. Minor axis and major axis both are perpendicular bisectors. Perpendicular bisectors means perpendicular to with each other and passing through the midpoints of each other. That is the reason, that is the meaning of perpendicular bisector. Okay, Major axis and minor axis are perpendicular bisectors. Okay, this is the terminology. First, we need to know about the directrix. Directrix is a simple continuous dark line which will be always vertical in position, and you can use any length to draw this. Anywhere also you can draw. Next, we need to draw principal axis. Principal axis is a long dashed dotted line. Principal axis and directrix are perpendicular with each other. Next is V1, V2. V1, V2 are the starting point and ending point of the curve which are intersecting with the principal axis. And the distance between V1 and V2 is known as vertices, and the distance between these two is known as major axis. And next we have EF, which is known as minor axis. These 2 points are also 2 extreme points of your ellipse only. The thing is, V1, V2 will be marked on principal axis, and EF will be marked individually. Here, major axis and minor axis both are perpendicular bisectors. Next, we have F1, F2. F1 and F2 individually known as foci point or foci point, and the distance between these two are known as foci or focal length, and individually the point is also known as fixed point. Even the line DD dash directrix line is also known as fixed line, and this is known as fixed. These are known as fixed points. And the distance between V1 and V2, that is distance between two vertices, are also known as major axis. EF distance is known as minor axis. AB is known as principal axis. Is this terminology is clear for everyone? Anyone have doubts here? Hello. Hello.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Were you
No, ma'am.
people
No, ma'am.
sleeping, ma? Were you people sleeping?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Whatever I explained, is it clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Now write down eccentricity formula. Eccentricity. Eccentricity is equal to distance from moving point to fixed point. Distance from moving point to fixed point by distance from moving point to fixed line. Okay, eccentricity formula. What is the eccentricity formula? Distance from P is a moving point on the curve. This point P will be moving here and there. Okay, it will be starting from V1 and it will be going to V2 and even down. Okay, P is a moving point. What is the formula now? Eccentricity formula is equal to distance from moving point to fixed point by moving point to fixed line. So I can write this as distance from moving point means P to fixed point means F1 by distance from moving point means again P, and fixed line point means M. Once again I will show you here. M is a fixed point, moving point to fixed point, moving point to fixed line. Okay, that I can write it as PF by PF1 by PM. Even I can write this P as V when it is intersecting. If the moving point of the curve is intersecting with the principal axis, what we'll call that point as vertex. If a moving point or a point on the curve is, if it is intersecting with the principal axis, we'll call that point as vertex. VF by, you can write VF by VA. How we can tell that? Once again, I will show you in diagram. Okay, see, eccentricity formula is equal to moving point is P, moving point to fixed point is F1 by moving point to fixed line. Fixed line means directrix, anywhere on the directrix. So the point is M. Once again, I'm telling eccentricity is equal to distance from moving point to fixed point by moving point to fixed line. Moving point to fixed point by moving point to fixed line. Fixed point, fixed line, moving point. Now I can write, instead of P, I can write V. How come? When this point P, when it is moving, here it will become P1, here it will become P2, P3, P4, P5, like that. When this moving point is intersecting with the principal axis, if it is intersecting with the principal axis, we'll call it as vertex. That is only I told you, no? If the curve point which is intersecting on the principal axis, we'll call it as vertex. Okay, if the same moving point, if it is on principal axis here or here, we'll call that point as vertex. And foci will be naming as F. Instead of F1, F2, I just nominally I'm taking F. By, again moving point P, if it is on the principal axis, we'll call it as V. By M. M is a point on the fixed line. Now if the fixed line is here, instead of it is here, then the point will become A. The formula is equal to, what is the formula? Vertex to focus by vertex to directrix. This is the formula. Is it clear how we are getting this now? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear for everyone? Any doubts here?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
రాసుకున్నారు ఫార్ములా ఇక్కడ? Yes, ma, I'm asking you people only. You should answer me, ma. I am only shouting. I am only talking. Huh? E is equal to VF by VA. This is very, 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 very important formula. Eccentricity E is equal to vertex to focus distance by vertex to directrix distance. Even I will write that also. Eccentricity is equal to vertex to focus by vertex to directrix. Like this also you can write. Even we can write E is equal to moving point to fixed point by moving point to fixed line. Anything I can write. Now here the very important point comes. If E is equal to 1, E is less than 1 actually. First one, E is less than 1. Then the curve form is known as ellipse. If eccentricity value is less than 1, the curve form is known as ellipse. Second one, if E is equal to 1, the curve form is known as parabola. If E is greater than 1, the curved form is known as hyperbola. Is it clear, ma? Have you written all these things? Have you written all these points? Have you copied all these points? Yeah. How about this diagram? Have you copied this diagram? What is what? Directrix, principal axis, foci distance, major axis, minor axis, moving point, vertex, focus. All these are clear for everyone? Still any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No one. This one, have you copied this one?
Yes, ma'am. Copied.
Yeah. Note down a problem. First problem, question number 1 in sheet number 2. These are just introduction. I'll give the problem to you now. Draw an ellipse. Draw an ellipse when the distance of its focus from its directrix is. Draw an ellipse when the distance of its focus from its directrix is 50 mm. 50 mm. And eccentricity is 2/3. Draw an ellipse when the distance of focus from its directrix is 50 mm and eccentricity is 2/3. Full stop. Also draw tangent and normal. Also draw a tangent and normal. Also draw tangent and normal to the ellipse. Also draw tangent and normal to the ellipse at a point. To the ellipse at a point 70 mm away from the directrix. 70 mm away from the directrix. Okay. What is given, ma, here? What is given in the problem? Can anyone tell? Can anyone tell what is given?
Distance of its focus is 50 mm from its directrix.
అంటే ఏంటి ఏమి ఇచ్చారు దాన్ని ఎలా డినోట్ చేయాలి? How we need to denote the distance? Focus means with what we'll denote?
F.
F. From focus directrix. Directrix means with what we'll denote? Directrix point. Directrix point means which point we need to take, ma, with what we denote directrix point.
D, ma'am.
Huh? Directrix point I'm asking, ma.
A.
How much it is equal to?
50.
Yeah. So 50 mm is given. Next, the eccentricity value is equal to 2/3. Normally, eccentricity formula is equal to VF by VA. That
VA.
is equal to 2/3. That means V2F need to be 2 units and V2A need to be 3 units. Okay. Till here you note down. I will explain you how to draw the curve in the next class. Okay. Chandrasekhar sir is there, ma? Sir is there? Emma. Just a minute.
చెప్పండి మేడం. మేడం క్లాస్లో చెప్పండి మేడం. పర్లేదు మేడం. ఓకే మేడం, నేను మాట్లాడతాను. వద్దు మేడం, వద్దులేండి, నేను మాట్లాడి పంపించేస్తాను. వద్దు మేడం, నేను పంపించేస్తాను మేడం. నేను మాట్లాడతాను, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను, నేను మాట్లాడుతున్నాను మేడం. మీ అమ్మాయికి ఆన్ చేస్తాను, మాట్లాడతాను. ఓకే మేడం, థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోయింది మేడం, నో ప్రాబ్లం. మా ఎవ్రీవన్, ఐఎమ్ ఇన్ క్లాస్. ఐఎమ్ ఆడిబుల్ టు ఎవ్రీవన్?
Yes, sir.
ఐఎమ్ ఇన్ క్లాస్. మా క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను నేను. ఓకే, I'll end the meeting then. Get back to your work. Don't keep any